All right, let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine you wake up tomorrow, you roll over, check your phone, and bam! Your bank account has a cool $1 million in it. But here's the twist. It's not just you. It's everyone on the entire planet.
In an instant, poverty, gone. That daily stress about making ends meet, it just vanishes. It's like someone hit a global reset button on wealth. I mean, on the surface, it sounds like an absolute paradise, doesn't it?
$1 million. For pretty much everyone, that's the dream number, the symbol of making it. But what happens when that symbol of success becomes the new baseline, the new zero for every single person?
Yeah, but this is where that perfect dream starts to, well, fall apart. Because when you solve a problem as big as poverty overnight, you might accidentally create a whole new set of problems that are way, way more complicated.
So, the first, and I mean immediate consequence, money, as we know it, becomes basically worthless. The very foundation of our entire economy just crumbles, almost overnight.
And this brings us to this big, kind of scary economic term, hyperinflation. Look, the only reason money has any value is because it's hard to get, right? It's scarce. The second you just poof, give it to everyone, that scarcity's gone. And poof goes its value too.
So what does that actually look like for you? Well, that loaf of bread you usually grab for $5, try $500. Thinking about getting a new car for 35 grand? Now it's 3 million. All of a sudden, that $1 million fortune you got, it can barely get you through the week.
It really comes down to this simple, kind of brutal truth. Wealth is all relative. If everyone is rich, then in reality, nobody is. Your $1 million means nothing if everyone else has one too. Okay, so money is meaningless, but the chaos doesn't stop there, not by a long shot. This financial collapse kicks off a much deeper crisis, and it all starts with a very simple question. Who's going to do the work? Just think about it for a second. All those jobs that are tough, messy, but absolutely critical for society to function. Who's picking up the trash? Who's growing our food? Who's making sure the lights stay on? If you don't have to work to survive, why would you?
You know, there was this comment on Reddit that just nails this fear. It basically said, you give someone $1 billion so they never have to work again. And you can be sure they never will. It's this pessimistic view that we only work because we have to.
But is that it? Is money the only thing that gets us out of bed in the morning? This whole scenario forces us to dig a lot deeper, to figure out what really drives us when survival isn't on the line anymore.
And this is where things could get really interesting. Because something has to replace money as a motivator, right? You'd see a shift. People might start working for social status, for a sense of purpose, or just because they genuinely love what they do. We'd have to move from an economy of survival to an economy of meaning. And that right there leads to this huge shift in what we even consider valuable. If money's out, what's in? The new currency becomes something you can't just create out of thin air. Skill. Yeah, let's go back to that idea of scarcity for a sec. We saw how just flooding the world with money made it worthless. But that exact same principle shows us what would become valuable, the stuff that you can't just hand out to everybody.
I mean, think about it. You can give everyone $1 million, but you can't give them more time in the day. You can't just download the skills of a brain surgeon or the creativity of a great musician. That's the stuff that's still scarce. And in this new world, that scarcity, that's value.
So what you get is a total flip in what it means to be wealthy. It stops being about what's in your bank account, and it becomes all about what you can do. Your skills, your knowledge, what you bring to the table, that's the new gold standard. Okay, so if, and it's a big if society manages to get through that initial chaos, what comes next could be amazing. We could see this incredible new era, what some people are calling a renaissance of purpose. There's this economist, Jeremy Rifkin, who argues we're already seeing hints of this. He calls it the collaborative commons. Basically, a whole system where people are creating and sharing stuff together, totally outside the normal money-based market. His go-to example is 3D printing, and it makes so much sense. First, you can download the design software for free. Second, you can use recycled plastics as your raw material. And third, you can power the whole thing with solar panels that have almost no running cost. All of a sudden, you're making complex things for practically nothing. Just imagine the possibilities here. In a world where you don't have to worry about paying the bills and you have the tools to create anything, what happens? You'd probably see this explosion in art, in science, in innovation. People would choose careers based on what they're passionate about, not what pays the most. It could honestly be a whole new, more cooperative, more brilliant chapter for humanity.
This whole crazy thought experiment, it really forces you to step back and ask a massive question, not just about money, but about what we're all doing here. It helps us get to the core of what wealth really, truly means. Seriously, think about it. Why does anyone want $1 million? Is it the actual paper bills? Of course not. It's just a tool, right? A means to an end. So, what was the real goal all along? And when you really dig into it, you realize money is just a stand-in for what we actually want. We want security. We want the freedom to choose our own path. We want to live with dignity. We want opportunity. And maybe most of all, we just want more time.
And that right there is the big reveal of this whole scenario. By imagining a world where everyone's a millionaire, we're forced to see the truth. Wealth was never about the money. It was always about quality of life. The real million-dollar question is, how do we build a world that gives everyone that quality of life without having to crash our current one to get there?